action. I'm just playing. Okay, I made on it. Hey, what's up, you guys? So today I wanted to do a video pretty much about how it is to be pregnant after losing a child. Now, it seemed like this video is going to be sad, but to be honest, it's really not. Let me take this gun out. It's so good. Hey, what's up, you guys? So today I'm shooting a video to pretty much tell you how it is to be pregnant after losing a child. I know it seemed like it's going to be a sad video, but it's really not. It's just going to be kind of comparing and how I don't have the innocence anymore that you get when you first have a baby. So if you don't know a lot about me, my name is Jasmine. Last year we lost our daughter Maddison at 37 weeks. It was very, very hard, being that I have this fear of death, and when it comes down to it, to be really honest, as a mother you have this kind of feeling that something's going to go wrong. I had that feeling the whole time, but I didn't know what it was going to be. I had like this feeling that something was approaching, that it wasn't her coming, but it was something that was approaching that just wasn't right. So we ended up losing her at 37 weeks. She had blood clots in her umbilical cord, and I had low amniotic fluid, which means that I was leaking. And to be honest, I really didn't know that I was leaking. A lot of women, if you ask them, you don't know that you're leaking, especially for me being a first-time mom and not having like guidance or anything like that. I really didn't know what was going on, and so that's how we lost her. Her name is Maddison Saint Claire. I'm not going to give you her last name because then you'll kind of know too much about our family, but her name is Maddison Saint Claire. I came up with her, no, her dad came up with her first name, and I wanted her middle name to be Sinclair, but he wanted something kind of different, and we looked up where Sinclair originated from, and it was Saint Clair, so Maddison Saint Claire. So pretty much I want to start off talking about how you kind of lose the innocence of being pregnant for the first time. Now, when you first find out that you're pregnant, you're happy, you're like, yeah, everything's going to be good, or it depends on, to be honest, what situation you're in, because you could be like, oh, well, I'm pregnant, dang, what's going to happen? But me, I've always wanted to be a mother. I always wanted to do things differently than how I was raised, and, you know, just stuff like that. Every parent's dream. So I was really excited. We were not on good financial terms, which, you know, a lot of people aren't, to be honest. You really don't have your life together when you have kids. A lot of people don't, and some people do, some people wait, but I was working, he was working, we was gonna figure it out, pretty much. She was not planned, but when it came down to it, I had just gotten birth control out, and so I wasn't surprised. I'm a big believer, and if you're doing a do, then don't be surprised when you get pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant, extremely excited, extremely happy, and I had this innocence when it came to it that I really didn't know anybody that had lost a child. My mother actually lost a baby at 5 months, and my cousin actually lost a baby at 5 months, but you don't know these things until you actually lose a baby and people tell you these things. So I had this innocence that everything was going to be okay and everything was going to work out and we was going to have our baby girl with us. So when it came down to that not happening, you develop this fear. So in the second pregnancy, I had this fear that this baby would not make it past a certain amount of weeks or anything like that I would have a miscarriage earlier on, or that this baby wouldn't survive till birth. And I still have that fear. It's not like that fear has gone away, but I do have a great team around me, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, I've dealt with it before, and I'm not saying it's going to be the same thing or anything like that, but I'm saying I've dealt with it before, and it's like you understand that you can't just assume stuff. I can't just assume that our daughter Iris is going to make it. I just have to enjoy every moment of it. And so you have this fear that everything's going to go wrong or something's going to go wrong, and that's the reason why I feel okay, because I have this strong like background around me. I have two OBs. I have two OBs. One is maternal fetal medicine, which is a high-risk OB. They check you every month early on in pregnancy, and then since I'm getting later, I'm 31 weeks now, they'll be checking me every 2 weeks or every week, which they was checking me every 2 weeks before, so I think it might be every week coming up to her. And then I have a regular OB where I know for sure that I'll be being checked every week. And the regular OB just checks, make sure everything's okay. That's the one that's going to deliver her. The maternal fetal medicine is an ultrasound. They do like 3D. Every time I go in there, they check her amniotic fluid, her blood flow, and make sure she's okay, she's developing fine, her weight. They do 3D scans, stuff like that. So they're more of a high risk, like in-depth thing. And I do also do chemotherapy. So when it comes down to that, I'm getting my blood tested. Every week I have an appointment somewhere that's getting me tested to make sure that this baby is okay. It's what it's taught me when it comes to losing the innocence of being pregnant for the first time, is that you really have to live in the moment. With our daughter Maddison, extremely happy. Like I said, me and her father love her so much. And so we were not necessarily in the moment, because you know, when you have a baby or when you're pregnant, you have to prepare for your future. So now you're like, okay, well, I have to think about this and I have to think about that and I have to think about blah, blah, blah. But with our daughter Iris, we really live in the moment now. When she moves, I feel her, I enjoy it. I remember one time she moved, like when she got bigger, to the point where it was like stretching outside of my stomach, it felt like, and it scared me. But you know, it's her getting bigger. But it excited me because now I can see you move, I can feel you move, so now I know you're okay. I used to use this fetal Doppler, which I'm going to do a review on. It's over there, I don't feel like getting, which I'm going to do a review on because I haven't seen one of those online like that. But I was using it every now and again because this was before she was actually moving to where I can really feel her move a lot. I started feeling her move at 16 weeks. And so when it came down to her moving, I felt better because of the fact that I don't have to use the fetal Doppler in order to hear her heartbeat. I can know she's already okay. But those moments are very important. Like, it's not even just living in the moment with her. It's living in the moment where my husband's asleep and I have to get out of bed to pee, and I come back and I lay in the bed and I just stare at him, and I'm just like, you know, in this moment I love you. I tell him I love him all the time, because in this moment you know that I love you and that I'm here for you. And so if anything was to happen to me in the next few seconds, anything was to happen to you in the next few seconds, you know that I love you and that you love me. That I love you and that I'm confusing myself, but you know that we love each other pretty much. And so when it came down to living in the moment, it really evolved me into a different person, changed me into a different person, because I'm not as worried about my future, but at the same time I have to be to a certain extent, you know how that is, but I'm not living past the moment. I have this tattoo on the back of my leg that says a fear of what's next is a fear of what's next is a fear that does not exist. And it's true, because how can I fear that something's going to happen to her when tomorrow isn't promised for me, when tomorrow just might not come? You know, just in general, I cannot fear what's next if what's next has not happened yet. And so it really taught me to live in the moment and helped me grow as a person, and made me really appreciate people in the moment instead of, you know, treating people like crap and then going back and saying, oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna treat you good now because I might not have time to come back and say I'm sorry. And now you're left with this idea of this person that you think I am, and I might not be that person. So when I say that, I really say too that I realize that I can't really plan my future. And she really made me realize that I understand that you have a lot of stuff going on and that you're trying to get to this certain point in your life and stuff like that, but you really cannot plan your future, because your future might not never happen. It might not get here. So you have to really plan in the moment. You really have to do everything in the moment, because your future might not come. So that means that, okay, I want to be a chef, so when it comes down to me cooking, I'm not going to say, okay, well, I'm going to start cooking next week. No, I'm going to cook today, and I'm going to cook tomorrow, and I'm going to continue cooking and researching and getting all the things that I can when it comes to cooking, because of the fact that that's what I want to do, but also because of the fact that I might not have a chance to cook next week. I might not have a chance to cook tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, she really made me realize that I cannot plan my future. I just have to enjoy what I have when I have it, while it's there in front of me. And you know, like, I found out that when I found out that I was pregnant, I found out, I would say officially finding out I was pregnant. I found out in the emergency room, but I would say officially because that's when I first heard her heartbeat. I found out at the OB. So I went to my OB appointment. It's way in like Statesville or somewhere, but it was a birth center, and that's where I really wanted to give birth at. But of course I can't, because they got to make sure everything is good with me as far as my cancer and stuff like that. But I found out that I was pregnant, and then I think within that week I found out that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it was like, because I lost my daughter Maddison, I wasn't surprised. To be honest, I really wasn't surprised. Me and him was like, okay, they want me to come all the way up here. They're not telling me to come up here to tell me everything's okay. They're telling me to come up here because they want to tell me that something's wrong. And me and him had a feeling that it was going to be cancer. It wasn't going to be like, oh, well, we just gotta, no. We both had a feeling that it was going to be, that it was cancer, and that it was probably going to be something considerably bad. It depends on what part, you know what I'm saying, what spectrum you're on, whether or not something is bad to you. Something floating around in my face. Whether or not something is bad to you. For example, when I found out that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, I researched into different things like that, different type of cancers people have and different type of treatments they have, and I really lucked out. And I'm not saying, when people say, okay, you got the good cancer, cancer is bad, just in general. But with the way that my treatment's been going, and the way that I have doctors behind me, and I have all these good things going for me, I lucked out. I'm not gonna lie, because there's people that gotta go for same, I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but for the same cancer that I have, they have to go in every single day of the week. And I have once every 2 weeks, and it's been working. So the fact that I don't have to do every single day, I really lucked out on that part. Like, when it came down to it, I had to mentally prepare for a lot of stuff. When they said, okay, you got cancer, I had to mentally prepare that I possibly won't see my daughter grow up, possibly won't be able to have any other children because of the chemo, and then that I possibly won't be able to make it past next week. Just say next week, if they was putting me on chemo and then it didn't work. Because my first doctor wanted me actually to do radiation and chemo. So radiation really affects your body, like really. Chemo really affects your body as well, but the fact that I didn't have to do radiation because I'm pregnant as well, the fact that I didn't have to do radiation, the chemo actually didn't affect me as much. I'm not going to say it didn't affect me as much internally, but I'm talking about symptom wise. Like, if I would have had to do radiation, symptom wise, I'd have been affected like horribly. And so I really commend the people that's going through radiation and chemo as well. So it's like the cancer and losing my daughter really prepared me. Well, I'm gonna say losing my daughter really prepared me for having to deal with cancer, where when I first lost her, I didn't think I would go to, I'm surprised I'm here today. I'm not gonna lie. And my husband really helped me out with that, because he pretty much said, you know, he said it like this: well, I don't plan on killing myself, so I might as well deal with what I got. And that's how it is. That's how it is when it comes to cancer. It was, I don't plan on killing myself, so I might as well deal with what I got. And that's how it is. It's just that's how he helped me. He helped me through talks, through guilt. You know what I'm saying? As a mother losing your baby that's inside of you, you have a lot of guilt when it comes to it, and you want to fix stuff and you want stuff to go better. And it's just some stuff you can't change, and some stuff you just got to deal with. And this is one scenario where I just had to deal with it. And I have a lot of memories of what was going on, and it's like when I have a lot of memories when it comes to Maddison, it also reflects on this baby, to where I'm like, okay, for example, Maddison didn't have hiccups. When I first heard Iris hiccup, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's something cool, that's something new, that's something that I can install in my brain to keep. And that's kind of how it was with Maddison, where of course she's my first, so she's my first experience with everything, to where I compare them in a certain sense, to where Maddison would go on my right side and try to get up in my ribs. No mother really knows why they go to your ribs, but she would just try to get up in my ribs, and Iris just started doing that, and I didn't think that's something she was going to do. I didn't get to see Maddison breathing in my stomach, but I got to see Iris doing it. And so it really helps when you think about memories on a good sense, where you're not just necessarily thinking really sad thoughts all the time, but where you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, well, I have to live in the good memories of my daughter instead of the bad memories, to where I regret this and I regret that. I spent a year crying, and I'm not saying that it's not going to happen in the future. When I see Iris graduate, when I hold her the first time, oh my goodness, I don't even know how. I didn't mean to cuss. I might explode. I might just explode. It's just, you have to live in the good memories of things, because of the fact that that's the only thing that you really have. Like, you have bad memories and things like that, but do you really want to continue to poison yourself like that? Do you want to poison your your other kids' future with bad memories. No. And so I want to share good memories with Iris about Maddison and how pretty much Maddison sacrificed herself for you to be here. I wouldn't have known that anything was wrong if Maddison would have came out healthy and okay, and then we might have lost Iris in the future. You know what I'm saying? You never really know what it is. And so when it comes down to it, I try to live in the good memories of my daughter. And so it's like when it comes to being pregnant after a loss, you have to pick and choose your battles. You can't sit here and fight yourself all the time or constantly think about what's going to go wrong or the things that went wrong and how you could have prevented them. Trust me, I've sat there and I've cried and I've went through the stages of grieving to where I wanted to give myself up just so my daughter can be here. And after you've done that crying and after you've done all these things, if you wasn't giving them back, if they wasn't given back to you, then you realize that you can't do nothing about it and you have to make the next day better than the last day. And that's pretty much what I learned as far as having a loss and being pregnant after a loss, is that Iris will have a better future because my daughter Maddison sacrificed herself for her, and I will love Iris just a little bit more. I will just do better by her just a little bit more because I didn't get that chance with Maddison. But I appreciate you guys for watching, and I just wanted to kind of put this video out there because when I try to look, all my videos is pretty much when I try to look something up, I can't find it, I do a video on it. And so it's pretty much I couldn't find a video about somebody being pregnant after a loss, and it's not even that they wasn't doing a video about being pregnant after a loss. It was more of they wasn't explaining how it is to be pregnant after a loss. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Again, I'm doing these videos for people that's going through it. I'm also doing it for people that have family and friends that's going through it and kind of want to understand them better. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.